Welcome back to the Not News Network, where the facts are flexible, the takes are deep fried, and my lawyer is, allegedly, a cardboard cutout. Let's recap. 50% news, 50% nonsense, 100% fake. Just like my gym membership. This is satire. The jokes? Bad. The logic? Missing. If you're offended, that's your sign to laugh or angrily comment. Both feed our algorithm. New episode rule. Don't sue me. I can't afford a lawyer. Just vibes. Now let's dive into news that are not true. Apology letters, the latest trend. Of late, apology letters have become the new currency. Offend someone? Write a letter. Didn't offend them? Write one just in case. At this point, the state runs less on understanding and more on Word documents titled apology note. Apology letters are now so common that local papers have a dedicated section right between obituaries and Sudoku. Demanding an apology letter these days is like offering black tea to a guest. It's no longer optional. It's a cultural requirement. Last week, a bakery had to issue a formal apology because a customer said the cake was too moist, which apparently triggered memories of a bad monsoon. Even online disputes now come with legal threats and a footnote saying, "We expect a letter of regret, preferably handwritten and countersigned by your dead ancestors." The apology culture has gotten so advanced that there's now a startup offering apology letter templates. It's like Canva, but only for people who've accidentally offended someone by breathing wrong. Another startup has been established in the state which aims to deliver apology letters via drone, because saying sorry in person would require another apology for the inconvenience. At this point, every human interaction in the state comes with a risk assessment and a draft apology. Even parents applying for birth certificates must now include an advance apology for anything their baby might do in the future. The apology culture has gotten so bad that one guy wrote a preemptive apology before posting his opinion online, just in case his post or his face in the display photo offended readers. Apology letters have become so institutionalized that certain high schools have started offering an elective called Advanced Regret Writing. Students are to be graded on tone, font choice, and how sincerely they can fake remorse. The demand for apology letters is now so high that local print shops are running out of A4 paper. One official warned, if this continues, we may have to start apologizing verbally. Crackdown on unlicensed pharmacies. Thanks to the new pharmacy rule, people in rural areas now have to choose between dying from illness or dying from the trip to the nearest licensed pharmacy 15 kilometers away. This new pharmacy rule is like banning street food stalls unless they're run by professional chefs. Technically correct, practically catastrophic. The new rule has already given birth to a startup where pharmacies can rent a licensed pharmacist through an app, basically Tinder, but for people who never want to meet in person and just exchange documents for cash. Licensed pharmacists are now charging 15,000 rupees a month to let pharmacies use their certificate, and that's it. They don't want to actually work there. They won't visit, but they are gracious enough to email over their certificate and wait for the money. At this point, the only thing they're dispensing is invoices. Authorities say periodic checking of the qualifications of pharmacists will ensure safety. Because nothing says safety like taking life-saving medication advice from a pharmacy counter guy, FaceTiming the pharmacist sitting at home. The good news is your pharmacist is now certified. The bad news is he's certified to sit at home and binge Netflix while you bleed out waiting for insulin. The policy is meant to protect people from unqualified medicine sellers. Because, as we all know, the real danger isn't disease. It's someone who skipped organic chemistry. Now that every pharmacy needs a licensed pharmacist, many villages will have only two options. Either drive 1 hour or learn to treat yourself with homemade remedies watching YouTube tutorials. Pharmacy operators say they're prepared for the pharmacy shortage by setting up temporary pharmacies staffed by interns who watched an entire season of Grey's Anatomy.
We interrupt this program for breaking news. In a move that has shocked absolutely no one, a union named the Union of Unions, UOU, was registered in Dimapur on Sunday, resulting in the state reaching a new organizational high. The government finally recognized the Union of Unions by adding it to the list of natural disasters affecting the state. The Union of Unions, in a press release, stated it has launched a membership drive offering an introductory deal. Subscribe to 10 unions, get 1 free registration of a union of your choice. This offer is valid for the next 99 years. Reliable sources reveal the Union of Unions has already faced controversy after admitting the People Who Hate Unions Union, PWHUU, as a member. The rift has escalated to 28 breakaway factions, each demanding its own separate Union of Unions. When questioned, the president responded in his signature broken English that there is a rift, but that they all have the public interest at heart. To support this claim, the president announced plans to sell protest calendars so the public can plan their lives around organized chaos. This is the end of the emergency broadcast.
Sadly, that concludes today's broadcast of things that might not have happened, or at least things we're willing to lie and say happened. We're not news reporters. We're what happens when you let a WhatsApp uncle start a YouTube channel. If this video made you exhale slightly harder than usual, subscribe, because clearly you have questionable taste in content. Like, or the algorithm will assume you're one of those fact-checking people. Share, with that one relative who still forwards good morning messages with thumbs-up sticker. This has been the Not News Network, legally required to remind you that nothing we say should be repeated in polite company, courtrooms, or family meetings. Stay skeptical, stay entertained, and please, for the love of God, don't cite our content on your exam paper. Until next time, stay delusional!